Election Commissioners Bill చాలా important for your prelims especially as well as for your mains. అయితే this bill it's not a concept, it is a collection of very important facts which are useful for your prelims. Now since this bill has been released, you will 100% get at least one or two questions based on this topic. చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్, ఖచ్చితంగా క్వశ్చన్ వస్తుంది. సో వాట్ ఈస్ ఇట్ ఆల్ అబౌట్? సో అసలు బిల్ ఏంటిది? రాజ్యసభ పాస్డ్ ద చీఫ్ ఎలక్షన్ కమిషనర్ అండ్ అదర్ ఎలక్షన్ కమిషనర్స్ అపాయింట్మెంట్ కండిషన్స్ బిల్ 2023. therefore it is important, very important for your prelims. 100% question from this topic. సో హౌ ఎలక్షన్ కమిషనర్స్ ఆర్ ఎలెక్టెడ్? ఎట్లా ఎలెక్ట్ చేస్తారు, ఎవరు ఎలెక్ట్ చేస్తారు, ఏ కమిటీ ఎలెక్ట్ చేస్తుంది, విచ్ కమిటీ ఈస్ గోయింగ్ టు ఎలెక్టెడ్, అండ్ హూ అపాయింట్స్ ద కమిటీ, వాట్ ఆర్ ద టెన్యూర్స్, వాట్ ఈస్ యర్ శాలరీ, ఆల్ దట్ విల్ బి డిస్కస్డ్ ఇన్ దిస్ వీడియో. సో కేర్ఫుల్లీ లిసన్, కలెక్ట్ ఆల్ ద ఫ్యాక్ట్స్, very important for your prelims as well as for other government exams that you are writing. 100% guarantee question. So what is it all about? చూడండి, ఎలక్షన్ కమిషన్. వాట్ ఈస్ ఎలక్షన్ కమిషన్? ఇట్ ఈస్ అ పర్మనెంట్ అండ్ ఇండిపెండెంట్ బాడీ ఎస్టాబ్లిష్డ్ బై ద కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా. సో ద క్వశ్చన్ విచ్ విల్ అరైజ్ ఫ్రమ్ ఇట్ ఇస్, హూ క్రియేట్స్ ది ఎలక్షన్ కమిషన్? హూ క్రియేట్స్ ద ఎలక్షన్ కమిషన్? ఎవరు క్రియేట్ చేస్తారు? ఇట్ వాస్ బీన్ డైరెక్ట్లీ క్రియేటెడ్ బై ద కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా అండ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ అన్ పర్మనెంట్ బాడీ, ఇట్ ఈస్ అన్ ఇండిపెండెంట్ బాడీ. సో ద క్వశ్చన్ విల్ బీ, ఈజ్ ఇట్ టెంపరరీ ఆర్ పర్మనెంట్? అట్లాంటి క్వశ్చన్స్ వస్తాయి ప్రిలిమ్స్లో. So permanent, it's a permanent independent body. Under which article? Who gave that? Under article 324. ఇది మీరు గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాలి. This is very important for this. And what does this article 324 give? ఏమిస్తుంది అంటే పార్లమెంట్కి, స్టేట్ లెజిస్లేచర్స్కి అండ్ ప్రెసిడెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా, వైస్ ప్రెసిడెంట్ అందరికి కూడా పవర్స్ ఇస్తుంది టు కంట్రోల్ దిస్ ఎలక్షన్ కమిషన్, టు కంట్రోల్, టు సూపర్వైజ్ దెమ్. And superintendents అంటారు, that is called superintendents. Over all, these people will have superintendents over election commission. They will guide them. Fundamentally election commission ఎందుకు క్రియేట్ చేస్తారు? The sole purpose of creating the election commission is to create free and fair elections in the country, because end of the day India is a democracy. Therefore elections free and fair గా జరగాలంటే ఎలక్షన్ కమిషన్ రావాలి. ఎలక్షన్ కమిషన్ని గైడ్ చేసేది ఇగో ఆల్ దీస్ పీపుల్. అండ్ హూ గేవ్ దెమ్ ద పవర్? ద కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా. త్రూ విచ్ ఆర్టికల్? త్రూ ఆర్టికల్ 324. ఇఫ్ యూ నో దట్, దట్ ఈస్ మోర్ దెన్ సఫిషియంట్. నో వాట్ ఈస్ ద కంపోజిషన్? ఎవరెవరు ఉంటారు దీంట్లో? అసలు ఈ ఎలక్షన్ కమిషన్ అనే బాడీలో ఎవరెవరు ఉంటారు? ఫస్ట్ కన్సిస్ట్ ఆఫ్ చీఫ్ ఎలక్షన్ కమిషనర్ సిఈసి అండ్ 2 అదర్ ఎలక్షన్ కమిషన్స్. సో ప్రిలిమ్స్లో క్వశ్చన్స్ ఎట్లా అడుగుతారు? what is the composition of election commission? Previously they used to ask like that. How many election commissioners? 2 or 3 or 4 are apart from CEC? How many people will be there within the election commission? Now as of now there are 3 people involved, 1 CEC plus 2 election commissioners. So that is what you have to remember for your prelims. Very important, this for your prelims. And who appoints them? Appointment ever chestaru. CEC and EC appointment is subject to the provisions of by any law made by the parliament and made by the president. Please try to understand this. Both of them will be involved. The parliament through law, and finally the appointment santakam evarde kavali? President de kavali. So these two are very important for their appointment. So again I repeat, this is the major crux of the story. Election commission, it is a permanent and independent body. Who established it? Constitution of India. First point. Under which article? 324. Who supervises them? The office of the President of India, office of the Vice President of India shall be vested in the Election Commission. Next, what is the composition? 3 people finally, 1 CEC, 2 election commissioners. And appointment ever chestaru? They are appointed by the parliamentary law and santakam by the President. If you remember that, that is sufficient for your prelims. Next, what are the key features of the bill? Ee kotta vache bill lo endi katha? What is the new story in it? Yes, it will consist of chief election commissioner and other election commissioners. The president will periodically fix who. The question for your prelims here is, Who fixes the number of ECs? ఇప్పుడు 2 అని చెప్పాం. If I want more than that, I cannot do it. The state legislature cannot do it. No one can do it. But it can be done only by the President of India. So the President is the supreme authority with respect to this election commission. So the question will come like this: who has the right to change the number of commissioners? So that answer is President. Therefore, this point is also very, very important for your prelims. Now, appointment of the commission will be appointed by the President upon the recommendation of this selection committee. So the highlight, so President by choice, he or she can do it, but the point is, who will guide the President? The selection committee. Selection committee decide chestadi. Madam, igo veelandaru, these are the candidates who are readily available. Now you please pick from them. We are selecting these people. If you have any change in choices, the President has the right to change the election commissioner. So that is the power of the President. But end of the day, the discretion lies with the President as well as the selection committee. So we should know a little bit about selection committee now. Now what is the selection committee? Let's look at it. So, ee selection committee lo evarevaru untaru. The Prime Minister will be there, one cabinet minister will be there, leader of opposition must be there, or if there is no big leader of opposition, if it is a single majority party, then the leader of the single majority party must be there. So this part in the selection committee, this part is very, very important for your prelims. So please try to understand definite questions from this topic. Therefore, you must know all the possibilities from where questions can come. Ekkadekadi nunchi questions vastayo meeku baga telvali. So that means you should know the topic, and you should also think, looking at the previous year questions, you must know from which part, ekkadiki velli vaadu questions adagachu, etla adagachu anedi this point. So selection committee, who are the members? The Prime Minister, one cabinet minister, one leader of opposition, or the leader of single majority party. This is the composition of the selection committee. That is sufficient. Moving on. Now search committee. Each search committee is headed by cabinet secretary. This is another important point for your prelims. So how the questions will be given? Questions etla istaru? Oka list istaru. Ichi search committee lo, selection committee lo evarevaru members undali. Who heads the committee? President, vice president, secretary, prime minister, itlanti questions adutaru. So you must be very thorough. The search committee, selection committee ki evarithe candidates iskostaro vallaki they need a search committee. So who does that work is the cabinet secretary does that work. So that is the point. Now what is the tenure of the election commission? Office for 6 years or below 65 years. These are the criterias. Appudu they'll change this number 60, 62, 63, 65. They'll ask questions like this. So you must be careful with 6 years or 65, whichever comes earlier. And please remember, this is the highlight point, reappointment. Malla appoint cheyadaniki. Members of the commission cannot be reappointed. Please remember, this is the very, very important. Cannot be reappointed. This is the highlight point. So a question may be framed based on this. So list lo how will they give in the prelims question? Members can be reappointed by the President. Such kind of statements they'll give. So our time lo manaku strike kavali. Members cannot. Malla reappointment anedi jaragadu. Please remember this. So in this search committee headed by cabinet secretary, you must remember that. What is the tenure? 6 years or less than 65 years. Reappointment cannot be reappointed. If you know this, that is more than sufficient. Jalu. Next, how can you remove? This is another important feature on which prelims questions will be asked. So it retains the manner of removal of CEC and is as specified in the constitution. Constitution lo etla specify chestaro atlane they will remove. On the grounds, the removal of the chief election commission will be same as the Supreme Court judge. Supreme Court judge ni ఏ ప్రాసెస్ లో అయితే రిమూవ్ చేస్తారో అదే ప్రాసెస్ లో చీఫ్ ఎలక్షన్ కమిషనర్ అండ్ ది ఎలక్షన్ కమిషనర్స్ కెన్ బి రిమూవ్డ్. So their removal is also very important. There is a huge scope for this question to come. Removal, appointment, tenure, very, very important. Next, EC never bigtaru, only on the recommendation of CEC. CEC is equivalent to Supreme Court judge. So judge ni atla తీస్తారు, CEC ni కూడా atla తీస్తారు. CEC కింద ఉన్న ఎలక్షన్ కమిషనర్స్ ఎవరు తీస్తారు? ఓన్లీ ఆన్ ద రికమెండేషన్ ఆఫ్ CEC. CEC చెప్తే బాబు ఈసీ బాలే తీసేయండి అంటే తీసేస్తారు. They'll remove the EC based on the recommendation of CEC. This point is also very, very important. Now prelims questions etla adutaru? The EC can be removed by the cabinet secretary, prime minister, president, and CEC or Supreme Court judge. These are the questions that they will give. So you must remember, CEC on the similar to the grounds of Supreme Court judge. EC will be removed only by the CEC on the recommendation of CEC. If you remember this, more than sufficient for your prelims. Next, ఇప్పుడు వచ్చిన కొత్త బిల్లు ఇష్యూస్ ఏంటిది? వాట్ ఆర్ ద కరెంట్ ఇష్యూస్? ఫస్ట్, lack of autonomy. Now autonomy అంటే independence. So the point is, these election commissions are usually majority party or ruling party, or they come under their process and చాలా డిస్టర్బ్ చేస్తారు. సో దే డోంట్ హ్యావ్, గవర్నమెంట్ చెప్తారు నువ్వు ఇట్లా చేయి అట్లా చేయి అని చెప్పేసి. సిన్స్ ఇట్ ఇస్ అ గవర్నమెంట్ ఇన్ పవర్, ది ఎలక్షన్ కమిషనర్స్ ఎండ్ ఆఫ్ ద డే ఇస్ అ పర్సన్ ఓన్లీ. సో దేర్ ఇస్ అ ఛాన్స్ ఆఫ్ కాంప్రమైజింగ్. సో ఆ అటానమీ లేకపోవడం అనేది ఇష్యూ ఆఫ్ ద బిల్. నెక్స్ట్, సుప్రీం కోర్ట్ హ్యాడ్ సజెషన్ ఇంక్లూడ్. సో ఈ అటానమీని తీసుకురావడానికి వాట్ కెన్ బి డన్? సో ద సుప్రీం కోర్ట్ సెడ్, యూ ఇన్వాల్వ్ ద చీఫ్ జస్టిస్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా ఇన్స్టెడ్ ఆఫ్ ద క్యాబినెట్ మినిస్టర్. మనకు కమిటీలో క్యాబినెట్ మినిస్టర్ తీసేసి సుప్రీంకోర్టు జడ్జిని పెట్టండి, చీఫ్ జస్టిస్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియాని పెట్టండి. పెడితే అన్నీ సెట్ అవుతాయి అని రికమెండేషన్ బై ద బిల్. అండ్ దేర్ ఫోర్ ఇట్ ఇంక్రీజెస్ ద ఇంపార్షియాలిటీ. ఇంపార్షియాలిటీ అనేది కంప్లీట్గా తగ్గిపోతుంది. సో గవర్నమెంట్ ఇంటర్ఫిరెన్స్, దిస్ అనదర్ ప్రాబ్లమ్. సాలరీ ప్రొవిజన్స్, సుప్రీంకోర్టు జడ్జికి చీఫ్ ఎలక్షన్ కమిషనర్ ఈక్వల్ శాలరీ ఉండాలా లేదా అనేది ఇష్యూ. చీఫ్ ఎలక్షన్ కమిషనర్ అగైన్ ఈజ్ డిపెండెంట్ ఆన్ ద గవర్నమెంట్, అండ్ దట్ విల్ బి బేస్డ్ ఆన్ ద క్యాబినెట్ సెక్రటరీ ర్యాంక్. క్యాబినెట్ సెక్రటరీకి వచ్చే జీతము విల్ బి బేస్డ్ ఆన్ ద గవర్నమెంట్. సో గవర్నమెంట్ ఇఫ్ ఇట్ సేస్ reduce the salary of the cabinet secretary, automatically the salary of the chief election commissioner also will reduce. If they say increase the salary of the cabinet secretary, the salary of the chief election commissioner also increases. So salary is based on the same level of cabinet secretary kabatti it has become an issue. Next, what is the eligibility criteria? He should have good sense, he or she should have enough amount of experience, and he should have worked as a bureaucrat before. All these criteria are there for appointment. So for that there is an issue. So just remember this is for your mains, not with respect to your prelims. Next, now what are the important cases with respect to this? This is the most important case with respect to election. Why Anup Baranwal case 2023 is important is, this case actually brought up something called, to perform free and fair elections in India there is no particular law. Even after 75 years of independence, we don't have a particular law which states, okay, this is how the elections must be done, this is how the election process must be done. There is no clear law for it. So this case has actually brought in that issue. Therefore this case is very, very, very important. Anup Baranwal case, please remember, prelims lo they'll ask a question, this case is related to what? That is the point. So what are the committee recommendations? For that committee recommendations, Dinesh Goswami committee, this is very important for your prelims. And the Law Commission report on electoral reform suggested by the CEs and ECs. So this is very important for your prelims. So Dinesh Goswami committee and Election Commission report, these two are very, very important. And please be remembered, commissions aim suggested that the committee consisting of Prime Minister, Chief Justice of India and the leader of opposition, వీళ్ళు అందరూ ఖచ్చితంగా ఉండాలి అని these two recommendations have been given. Dinesh Goswami committee and the Law Commission report suggested that the CECs and the ECs should be appointed by a committee consisting of Prime Minister, Chief Justice of India and the leader of opposition or Lok Sabha. So the question etla vastadi, this particular committee is related to what? What are the recommendations of the committee? Annappudu the question will be asked like this. How will they ask the question? Here instead of Prime Minister they will say President. Instead of CJI they will say CEC must be there. Like that they will change these positions. That is how the questions will be framed. So you must be very, very thorough with what the report suggested, what are the recommendations. You must be very, very thorough. So please remember, this suggested that the Prime Minister must be there, Chief Justice of India must be there, leader of opposition or the majority of the Lok Sabha, evarunte vallu. So these four people you have to remember as recommendations. Next, moving on. Please remember, Article 142 grants special powers to the Supreme Court to provide complete justice in any cause or manner pending before it. So this article gave the Supreme Court power to actually bring this law into picture. Whenever there is fair, if you want free and fair elections, the Supreme Court does it. Very good. But how did the Supreme Court get the power? Based on Article 142 of the Constitution. So this article is also very, very important for your prelims. You know this is sufficient. Now, the bill removes Chief Justice of India from the selection process that was laid under Anup Banerwal case. This is another issue. What did the bill do? The bill removed CJI. Anup Banerwal said you have to include the CJI, but the new bill said Chief Justice of India should not be there. Usko nikal dena chahiye from the selection process, so that impartiality. And because of this, there is an issue which has been raised. So if you know these points with respect to the Chief Election Commission bill, I think that is more than sufficient with respect to your prelim.